the end of the day, you will always make it if some if you are not reckless. Yeah, this but if you have like common sense, and if you do things just properly, or the way how you want it to make it, you will make it.
Leaders Talk, Season 2.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is your favorite time of the week. It's my favorite time of the week. It's time for Leaders Talk. And as usual, I am your host, Andrew Dupe, head of communications here at Leaders Brands. And today with me, I have as my guest, Pavel Danek. So let me introduce you to Pavel. He is, over the past 2 decades, he's co-founded multiple businesses, navigated them all the way back from near collapse back to success. His work has impacted hundreds of clients, and his story has earned him a spot in the broader nomination for the EY Czech Entrepreneur of the Year in 2024. He was raised in a small Czech village and shaped by a father who redefined what it meant to be ordinary. He learned that success isn't about being exceptional, it's about doing the hard work that no one else does or sees. And he does it for longer than you think possible. So he is also the author of Ordinary Founder, a grit and profit playbook for entrepreneurs, and that is our primary reason for having him on today. So Pavel, welcome. I mean, that's kind of a brief introduction, but yeah, let our audience know a little bit about you and about why you decided to become an author.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at first, thanks for the introduction. It's my pleasure to be here, and also to hear these kind words which you use to describe my path and myself. So thank you very much for that. I actually, my name is Pavel, and I am from Czech Republic, so in the middle of Europe, of Central Europe, and I was always wondering how it could feel to write a book, how it could be. So there was like a small bug in my mind, how to write. And I'm not native speaker in English. You can hear it. You can see it. So
carry on just fine.
so yeah, I have like this business European English. And it was always a block, because I wanted to write something which could be like general, which could be like globally used, because Czech Republic is like 10 million people, so it's a small market, and I wanted to write something more universal. So now with the let's say boom of AI, I was able to online check and correct what I am thinking, what I am writing, and correct me online, not to pay like somebody who is sitting next to you and write it instead of you, or write it together with you. So I was writing in Czech, I was writing in English, and correcting it by the help. The English is not like it's that the thing how I mean it in my head, thinking Czech, that it will be written the same way in English. Yeah, and in Czech Republic and in Europe, there is, and it's my opinion, but I heard it several times, is that like when you start doing business and you don't succeed, or you have some problems, it's a little bit like a sin. Like it's not accepted that you have to like start business and go well. Otherwise, it's a problem, and if you go like bankrupt, or it is not successful, it's a problem. So I wanted to write something like from my personal experience. So it must be true because it happened. So like how to go through this way with like several problems, because there are always problems when you do business. Typically through the first 2 years, it's like crisis management everywhere for everything. And yeah, so this was, I wanted to describe that even if it is like that, you can go through that. It's not like a sin or problem that you are not always like growing, because it's like
Right.
Yeah, and how to go through that. And the other thing was that I have two teenage daughters, completely don't know how to raise them, and they came to me like with these new ideas that they will work like smarter, not harder, and it will be like easy way to get some money. And unfortunately, I know only this hard way. So I wanted to describe when the time comes, and they would like to read it, maybe get some ideas from that, so they don't have to exactly fall into the dust or bite the dust the same I did several
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, kind of take us through the framework of Ordinary Founder. Just uh, kind of let our audience know a little bit about what your main goal was with it, and just a little bit of what they might want to expect when they pick it up.
Yeah. So to be honest, I definitely didn't have like the courage to write a book. So I needed a little bit nudge, a little bit incentive from somebody, and somebody was like Alinka
Yeah.
Rudkowska. She's great with writing books. So somebody of her team like contacted me if I wanted to try. So I said okay, maybe this is the chance. So I would do it. And so with this a little bit push, I was thinking, okay, but what I could say to the world, because like I don't have like personal brand, or I'm not super successful. My name is not known, which is maybe a little bit good for some reasons, but not very good if you want to publish a book and sell
Uh,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
so
That's a whole conversation.
yeah. So yeah, so like to do it, and plus that how to write something which you really know that it's true. So what is true, it's really what I went through like during last 20 years. So my idea was, okay, I would pick up the best and also worst moments from founding a company or founding everything, because you need, if you want to move from A to B or grow something, you need to fund it, because nobody will do it typically for you. So about this process, so I took these points which were important, or I think they were important, and based on that I wrote, let's say, a short story jumping through these moments which were somehow important and at the same time universal if you do business, or if you start a business, or if you want to grow something. And then in the second half of the book, I just distilled it into, let's say, more universal, if I can say, rules, or something which you can use universally in such a scenario, like what are the most important things which you need to take care about, what are like basic rules when you hire people, what are the basic rules about cash flow, and how to put all these things together, that at the end of the day, it's like a puzzle, it's a business which somehow works.
Yeah. Okay. And so, I mean, what are some key takeaways that you kind of want your readers to get from Ordinary Founder? I mean, just some without giving away the whole book, obviously, because we want the audience to get to pick it up and give it a read. But just kind of as an overview, what are some things that you want your audience to kind of get from this?
Yeah, so a little bit similar, like it was like in parallel, like the incentive to start a book. Like for example, I didn't start a book just by myself. That I came with the idea of a book and I found somebody and then I published a book. It was like I had an idea, but there was something missing which I needed to add. Like, so it was the, let's say, the incentive from Alenka. But the same was when I started doing business. It was not like that I had a great idea of a business. It was like, definitely I want to do business. I don't know how, I don't know why, what, but I know I want to do it. And so I started the way that the business was like my second afternoon shift, or the second job. And again, I needed an incentive. That time it was my cousin Aleš who helped me, or who asked me to help him to build his business, and I was like co-founder of it. So which was great, because this was the final piece of puzzle which was necessary. So I took like a few cases how to make this very first step, which could be like how to make it when you already have your work which you need because you need some income to pay your mortgage and pay the bills. So it's one thing, and also all the problems which will generate to you, like no time to friends, no time to family, always tired because you,
Time is always
yeah. So how to overcome it, or for example, how to do it like, because the safe way is that, I don't know if it is in States, but definitely in Europe you can found like a sport club or like club which is just based to, for example, do some sports activity, but at the same time you can have some small business, for example, with catering or some party and events which is related to that. So which is like a small bridge to also do a business. You don't have to like Monday quit the job and go to do something, and there will be some miracle and invoices which will be paid on time. Yeah. So this is okay. It can be like that, or it can be the way which I described. Plus, also how to get the first money. In my case, I had to I
yeah.
had to sell my Ducati motorcycle, which was my how to say, the best motorcycle at that time I ever
It
had.
was your,
So
your your favorite motorcycle.
so yeah, and second thing was that I had to go. Yeah, I had to go to the. It's called like unemployment or labor office, something which supports you during like few months when you are unemployed. So I also had to like lost my pride that I would never
Yeah.
go there, but it was like a safe move to overcome this first half a year before between I quit my well paid job, and I had nothing. We had just idea that we will do the best online advertising in Czech Republic.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a bold move. I mean to make that kind of decision. I think that's what holds back a lot of people when they're thinking about making some kind of major business decision. Is always that fear of I'm going to have to swallow my pride, and people aren't going to necessarily trust
Yeah.
that I'm going to do the right thing. And so how do you kind of overcome that?
Uh, usually in my case it's like it's not like something that you can mathematically calculate. It's like
Yeah.
that you in my case I you or you came to a point when you know that uh, you are you are so safe and it's so okay, but this is not the way which you dream of. It's very good, it's fine, but it's not a dream. So you, in my case, you need to tune up this thing that you feel that it's okay with, let's say, like common sense, that you also need some kicker, some starting
Yeah.
pot of money to do it. So in that time you tune up when is the right thing, and then you really need to go, because once you do the decision, there is no way back. You must go. It's yeah, so it's like that. And as you mentioned, it's a lot of losing the pride, because if you have a good job, which I had with good friends, great boss, it's like there is a high potential that after 1 or 2 years somebody would say to you, "Okay, it was a bad decision, but why you did it?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it
that's
was
what I was
crazy."
kind
Yeah, so yeah.
of. There's a lot of negative things that people think about
Yeah.
when they're making that kind of decision about starting a business
Yeah,
that
yeah,
holds
yeah.
back a lot of times.
What is great that we started as two, like we were friends. I guess we still are, but we were really good friends. So if you have any problem, it's split it by two, because you can speak about it and you can
Yeah.
you can do it. So uh, I think it's a little bit lonely and harder to start business just by yourself, compared if you started with somebody you can trust, and who is, let's say, a good buddy which always helps you, and let's say you can keep the head above the water better than just be alone. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and that's that. You mentioned that too about when you were talking about writing a book. Which I mean, I'm glad that you got help from us, so that we were able to build that. But getting help is something that also I think a lot of people that starting businesses, they think about, oh well, if I'm going to do this, I want to do this all myself. But that's really not always the best way to go about it, is it?
Yeah, yeah. When I started, I was like 23, 24, 25. Yeah, let's say young guy, and you thought that you understand everything the best way, and
Yeah.
you don't need anybody. Yeah, and as you mentioned, after a few years, maybe months, maybe weeks, you realize that you need to be the best in HR, best in marketing, best in sales, best in the product itself, best in maintaining the complaints, best in collecting the money, stuff like that. And this is too much for one guy or one hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, but it's like common sense. This is the recommendation to hire or to have as a partner somebody who is maybe opposite of you, or he who has different competencies than you. You have just common values, which is so important to have common values. If you don't have common values, then okay, but after some time it will pop up and it will catch you.
Yeah, I like that because that puts it into a good perspective that it's values that you really want to make your core, or not necessarily whether you agree about doing things the same way. Because if you just brought in a bunch of people who do the same way as things the same way as you, I mean, what value would you get out of that? Because you just have yes men in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. My experience is that if you have the same values, the business will stay together no matter what happens, and the best way then is that if you have the same values but let's say different competencies, if the values are different or remarkably different, sooner or later, and with the success, it's more like the success will put it more and more visible, and more and more will split it. Yeah.
So, Pavel, as we kind of start winding down a little bit here, do you have anything that you really just want our audience to take away that maybe you haven't discussed yet, or just something in the book that you want them to know about that connected, like a golden nugget, just something that they can have that you just really want them to have as a takeaway from this conversation?
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it is a golden nugget, maybe silver one. And this is this is the point that uh, definitely during doing business you will encounter a lot of situations when you think that it's the end of the world. It's like, okay, this where I will get the money, how I will make it, how I will overcome this problem because, for example, I have to pay this, I have on my account this, which is like
Yeah.
typical, and I would say that at the end of the day, you will always make it if if you are not reckless. Yeah, they say, but if you have like common sense, and if you do things just properly or the way how you want it to make it, you will make it. And at the end of the day, in these situations, there will be nobody who will say or who would say to you, you will make it. There will be nobody, so you have to say it to you, and say, okay, I will make it. I will make it. And yeah, just how to say, if you go through hell, don't stop.
That's a good one to leave our audience with. But before we do that, how can our audience find out more about you?
About myself, you mean?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not very like social media active. because I am in the B2B business. So LinkedIn is my number one social media. So you can find me on LinkedIn, and I have also a small microsite related to the book, to the Ordinary Founder, and to the next one, which I would like to release in the coming months, which is like paveldanek.com. It's in English. English microsite. Yeah, so LinkedIn and this microsite. I would prefer maybe the LinkedIn because you can see my history like last 15 years. So yeah.
Excellent. And ladies and gentlemen, those links are right down below, and the book is Ordinary Founder, which you can pick up now on Amazon, and that link is also down below. Pavel, it was great having you on. We'll probably circle back after a few more months. That give the book a little time. We'll see how it does for you. Maybe you have another conversation.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, once once again, thank you very much. A little bit excuse my like Slavic accent in the English. I did my best. If
Oh,
I
you did great.
thanks for that. In the book, you cannot you can't notice it because it's written. So there is the English proper. So thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Pavel. You have best of luck in your endeavors.
Thank you. The same to you.